Rar. As promised, we're doing our third part and the last part of the CBrown conversation. So,
yeah, I've noticed you're calling the whole thing part one, and then
part 1-1-2-3. Yeah, because I'm hoping to have another conversation with him about junk DNA. Robin goes third first. I'm second first.
There's Robin. Hey, Robin, glad you could make it.
Oh, let's be first. Okay, so this one is where we kind of get into talk about religion and, you know, what questions about my religion and stuff. And I just thought it was kind of interesting. Unfortunately, this one is 19 minutes long. So I'm hoping everybody didn't get bored and leave, because there are a few nuggets in here, I think. And we'll make a few comments about it later. And we just discovered something new on StreamYard. Well, we could write shit on the screen if we want. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway. Okay, ready to roll?
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
So we'll mute ourselves and we'll go ahead and get right into it.
Of the creation and the complexity that's beyond man's understanding. That's just like if you got your dog, whatever, you guys go to the park or what have you, something happened with the car, you got to stop the car, you got to get up under the hood, you got to fix something.
Yeah.
It's beyond that dog's realm of understanding.
Right.
Okay. What the hell you're doing. Same way, like if you got a child and your child wants to play with the electrical socket, you smack that hand. Oh, he said he loved me. Now he's smacking my hand. He won't let me do what I want to do. So yeah, there's a lot of faith coming in. But at the same time, though, in all honesty and reality, there's a lot of faith on the evolutionist side too.
Oh, I have great
faith. It might be more faith.
Yeah, I have great faith in natural complexity. That's my God, basically. So, like, I believe in
God. Come on, man. That's terrible, man.
No, that ain't. That's just wonderful. I mean, like you've heard of the Gaia thing, the Earth. I mean, the complexity of the Earth, the wonders of the forest, and all this stuff, and even my own biological reality, to me, is something I have great faith in. And I have, like, that is my strength and that is my God. So you have to understand that.
Man, I understand that. I understand that. But here's the thing, though. And that's why that kind of saddens me. You know what I'm saying? Look, you're a very intellectual guy, man. You're well-spoken, but yet your faith is in that. But at the same time is, when you die, what is that gonna mean to you? It's not gonna mean anything to you.
Yeah, but I will always have been here. I mean, I'm here right now, and I will always have been. So why do I care? What do I care outside of, like, okay, after I die? I mean, that would just be egotistical for me to care about that. Why do I give a shit about my ego? What does the world care?
It's not about your ego. It's not about your ego.
Right.
It's about, that is the end. That is the end.
End of me doing stuff, but it's not the end of what I was. My life will always be there. I will always be a part of this world and a part of history. I mean, like the way I put it, before I was born, when I was still dead, okay, I didn't think about stuff and I didn't do anything. And then in this little period of life I have, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm creating all this stuff. I'm talking to you. I'm having conversations. And then when I die, okay, after I die, it's the same as before I was born, right? I go into eternity. Like the moment I die, I launch into like I join with the universe and I go into eternity. And I think that's great. But I will
Yeah, but
always
you won't feel none of that. You won't. You
here's the
won't be
most
able to react with none of that.
here's the most important part you got to understand. I will always have been. I will always have been. I got to be, and I will always have been. Nothing is going to erase my history. I'm 74 years
Yeah,
old, and I have
yeah,
74
but
years
here,
that are in the universe, right? So, I mean, why do I care about anything outside of that? Why do I care about after I'm dead?
well, I tell you what, I mean, I kind of, I mean, I kind of get what you're saying.
Okay.
That's just not enough for me.
Are
It's just not enough.
you
But go
familiar with
ahead.
you familiar with AA?
AA.
Yeah, Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. uh Anyway, like I'm very much into Alcoholics Anonymous, and it's always sobered up 18 years ago. But anyway, they have this whole thing. They call this part okay, there's me, and then there's not me, and they call me not God. So I am not God, and everything that is not me, that's God. so so basically everything else is God to me, that sort of thing. And that's all I know about God. You're talking about the dog who doesn't understand what you're doing when you go under the hood. Okay, I don't understand the whole of the universe, right? I don't know everything, right?
Hmm.
So I mean, all of that stuff out there is much bigger than me. Anyway, AA makes a big point of turning your will and your life over to the care of God as you understand Him, and that's kind of what it means to me, is to have faith in in everything else outside of what I've created in my own little egotistical concerns. But anyway, no,
Hmm.
I'm not concerned about what happens after I die, because that is going to be a wonderful time when I launch into eternity and into the universe, and I become one with everything else, and I no longer am going to be doing the mic stuff, right? I'm going to be doing something else. So now we've entered
You're
a
not gonna be
different
doing,
phase.
Mike. You're not gonna be doing anything. You're not going to. You're not going to be connected.
So what? But well, my kids will remember me and tell their dad.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
yeah,
But then they'll pass away. Then their kids will pass away. Then their kids pass away. You know.
yeah.
I
Then
mean,
yeah, but the
but you
effects are
can't
sort
even
of.
enjoy it though. You can't enjoy it.
I mean,
I can't change. I definitely can't change your mind on it, man. I can see right now you definitely have your beliefs. I'm glad that you don't fear dying. I am glad about that because I
oh
thought
yeah,
about you. I said to myself, wow. He said he's 74 years old, watching your video. And I'm saying, damn, you know what? I feel bad because when he passed away, whatever, or when it's getting near him passing away, it's like you don't have that connection because I'm telling you, man, I swear, man, my connection with God, man, and that peace that I have, connecting with Him, it's phenomenal.
that's
It's
the same
absolutely
thing.
phenomenal.
That's the same thing I have with nature and with the world. All of that. I have this phenomenal connection, this phenomenal deep faith where I can just lean back into it, and it's like a warm blanket. And I have this great faith in life being exactly what it's supposed to be in God's plan. Basically, I have faith in God's plan. So I have that same.
So wait a minute. Well, you just say you have faith in God's plan. What does
Right.
that
Not,
mean?
not your God, not your God, the
Okay,
God
right.
outside. Yeah, the everything outside. So I have faith in the plan of the universe for me, that whenever I drop dead, that is exactly what's supposed to happen at that time. And so I have the same spiritual connection, and I feel this deep faith. And I had a major religious experience when I was 15 years old. And I've always been an atheist all my life. My mom tried to bring me to church when I was 6 to 8, and I, eventually told her this doesn't make any sense to me, and I just abandoned it. But so I've never been a believer. But when I was 15, I had this powerful experience, and it lasted for about 3 days, where the world lit up. It was
Powerful
like
experience with what?
what's that?
With nature?
No, I just had I had like some kind of weird psychological experience where I was under extreme stress, and all of a sudden I entered this period where for 3 days I was at total peace with everything, and it was like the world was on fire with Snow White. I mean, it was like everything was crystal clarity for like 3 days, and I went through this whole
But what
thing.
do you contribute that to? What do you
That
contribute it to?
the chemicals, brain chemicals, whatever, temporal lobe meltdown.
Mm.
I don't have to attribute it to anything. It happened. It was a powerful experience. It was unbelievable, and it changed my whole life. I mean, it allowed me when I finally entered AA at 24, I was able to understand the 12 steps in a very different way as a result of that experience, and that was real important. And that was prior to doing any drugs or anything. I didn't start the drug experience until I was 19. That's when found LSD, and then eventually I found
Do
meth.
you smoke? Do you smoke weed now?
No, no, I don't smoke weed, but I do psilocybin on a regular basis. So
You do what?
psilocybin, mushrooms, magic mushrooms.
Oh man.
Oh
Woo,
yeah.
I'm scared of those, man. Man. Oh
You're,
man.
you're,
Who is a nature guy?
what did you say? You're afraid of those?
Yeah, mushrooms?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
they
don't
grow
want to
in.
see all that. I don't want to see all that stuff. I
Well,
want to see stuff that's actually there, not stuff that ain't there.
oh,
But
yeah,
who
yeah.
knows? Maybe that stuff is there, but it's in a different dimension.
Well,
you know,
well, you're
you
talking
know.
about you're talking about ayahuasca, not mushrooms. Okay, mushrooms are a little bit different. You don't see shit that's not there. You see shit that is there. So anyway,
Okay, hold no, hold on, man. Look, you got to explain that a little bit more to me. I know we all way off track, but which means you see stuff that is there with mushrooms.
you see what your eyes are seeing. Basically, you'll see that you'll see things slant. You'll see colors. You'll see little lights and patterns when you close your eyes. You're actually seeing stuff that actually is there in your visual cortex. There's nothing. There's nothing. You don't hallucinate things that aren't there. You don't see like a man standing in the room. Maybe I've never done ayahuasca or DMT, but they claim they like and I think when they close their eyes, you can see patterns, that sort of thing. But anyway, mushrooms don't
Hmm.
make you see shit that's not there. So anyway,
But hold on. I know we way off target here, but what I'm saying to you is maybe what you're seeing is stuff that your eyes can't see unless you're on that one. Maybe you're tapping into a different dimension.
oh, you do tap into things that you ordinarily
Right.
would see or think about. Like when
Okay.
when I do mushrooms, I'm able to do a lot of self evaluation from almost as if I'm not me, as if I'm standing outside of myself. So it kind of gives you a greater perspective on who you are. But I don't want to get
Right.
off. I don't want to get off on that tangent. We could stick to the
Right.
God.
Right. I know, but let me just say one thing because that's pretty interesting. I forgot I was just about to say something. I forgot what it was, but that's pretty interesting. Um. Okay, but I'll pick that back up again because I was about to say it and I forgot what it was. But go ahead. We can move on. But I do want to say this right here. Uh, do you hear like I'm walking around like with dishes? Do you hear that?
I can't hear the dishes, but your audio is could be better. It could
Okay,
be.
okay. Okay, let me ask you a question. How does this sound? And then I'm gonna start rough around the dishes and tell me if that's messing something up. Right now.
That sounds pretty good.
Okay, so I can do the dishes then, is what I'm saying
I
while we
think you
talk.
can, but I don't know if I could do dishes and talk at the same time, but that's wonderful if you have that talent, that skill.
Okay.
I can't
Okay,
chew gum
so
and walk.
yeah, 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 go ahead and take the floor. Tell me what you want to tell me. We can go from there.
Okay. So anyway, so what you have to understand is I don't have anything but the natural world in front of me and a belief in how the natural world works. And every day when I get out of bed, the only thing I have to help me figure out how stuff happened, well, if I wake up and something is knocked over in my room, I don't have anything to look at other than my cats. Somebody broke in, some natural cause, right? So my whole life has been, about, nature and looking at the things that nature can do without any God intervention. So you have to understand that in that way, I am handicapped. I don't have the option of saying, oh, there was some intelligent creator that moved the molecules around and created the DNA. But anyway, I'm
But,
getting a little.
okay, but what about this here? What about if there is, you can't say that there's not a God for sure, can you?
Oh, I'm pretty sure that. You mean your kind of God?
Yeah, my kind of God. An intelligent designer. Just say an intelligent designer.
Yeah, there isn't one. No, yeah, I can say for a fact there isn't one.
Okay, so there's nothing. Let me ask you a question. There's nothing. I got two questions for you, and then I'm gonna give you the floor. There's nothing will convince you that there's a God. Was there anything that convinced you there's a God?
Oh,
And that
yes.
question, and then right. And the other thing is this here. The other thing is, do you, if there is a God, and you can have everlasting peace with Him, okay, versus being a part of a nature that you can't feel. How is yours better than that one? And the last part of this question is, what do you think about people who had near death experiences who was afraid to die? Now they're not any longer wanting to die. And also the fact is that, well, not the fact, but it's possible that the brain is actually a filter that's stopping you from seeing what's really out there. Maybe mushrooms make you see what's there because it's opened the brain up, because the brain could be an actual filter. So when these people have these near-death experiences, they're able to have more clarity. They're able to see things much better, okay, because they're having that near-death experience. What do you think about those collectively?
That's a lot of stuff.
I
Okay,
know, but it kind of points to it being better to have a designer
to you. Yeah.
versus not having one.
Anyway, what would convince me that God exists? If
Yes.
Jesus basically floated through my wall and had a talk with me right now, and I could see him, or if God did something like I was walking along and all of a sudden a car lifted up in the air, or like the car was going to hit somebody and it lifted up in the air and it didn't hit him. If I saw some real supernatural event, or if I looked up in the sky and it was written "Believe in me" in the stars, I'd start being. I'd go to church. Okay, that would
Okay.
convince me.
Okay, that's good. So I would say this here. That's better than what Matt Dillahunty. Matt Dillahunty will not concede at all
Uh,
about
he's
anything.
he's kind of an ass.
Uh, he is. You ain't lying. Oh my goodness, he's a sensitive ass. He get to
Oh
be an
yeah,
ass, but somebody else be an ass, and then he's like super sensitive. But yeah,
right.
but go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. If there
Okay.
is something else you want to add to that,
No. Basically, there are things that would convince me there was a God, and if I had any
okay.
history in all of my 74 years, I would really take notice. Basically, if I saw some supernatural event that I could not possibly explain, and I've seen some shit in my life. I mean, I, I'm a cocaine alcoholic, so I mean, I've seen some shit. But anyway, so there is that. Now, number two, you said choose between, my natural world and being at peace forever with God in heaven. I don't want that. I don't want to live forever. I don't want eternity. I want to, just like right now, after I'm done with you, I'm probably going to eat a big sandwich and I'm going to take a nap. Okay, at the end of my life, I want to take a really deep nap where I don't have to do this anymore. I'm done being Mike. I want to flow out into the rest of the universe. I want my molecules to be part of a road or a tree or some kid down the block. I don't want to exist forever. So what I would
Okay.
choose my natural world. So that's number 2. Okay. And NDEs, oh my God, I don't want to get into that right now. There's
Well, okay, we gotta get into that. Okay,
something
but
that religious experience I told you about, very,
mhm.
very similar to what happens with NDEs. Okay, it's called a temporal parietal junction meltdown. And there's something that they've actually been able to look at in brain scans, but we don't want to dig into that right now because we got so much on the table here. And
Okay, okay. We won't get into that. Okay, we won't get into that. Go ahead.
I'm getting really tired. Can we defer to another conversation? Maybe get back into the junk DNA.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna get to. Yeah, get back to drug DNA. That's what I was about to tell you.
Yeah,
Right.
but I'd like to do that with a fresh mind in another conversation. Can we schedule another? I'm going to give you my
Oh,
phone number. Is that okay?
yeah,
So
that's cool.
you can communicate about timing and stuff like that. I'll do that
Okay.
in private chat. I do not want to put that online. Okay, that was about it. There was a few minutes more, but it was just us setting up another conversation.
Pitter patter.
Pitter patter. Titter patter. Yeah. Anyway.
We have it's Eric Wander in the side chat. Welcome. It's Eric Wander.
Oh, Eric Wander. Hi.
And
Somebody.
Chris is here.
Yeah.
Always great to have
Robin
Chris.
Hood.
Of course, Robin. And Brian Murphy popped in as well.
Yeah, the thing, if you saw something supernatural, I mean, it would depend on what it is exactly. I mean, if I don't know, if there are things that could convince me of various religions, depending on what kind of events they were, I guess. But to convince me of Christianity would be a pretty goddamn high bar. I guess if Grandma came back, dug her way out of the grave and resurrected, I'd say, oh, well, that's something. But that'd be part of it, but there'd be a little bit more. I'd have to believe in the Christian God and the Bible, and the Bible would have to light up in neon colors every time I turned the page, and something like that to indicate that this is the Word of God or whatever. So I mean, I don't know, but I could be convinced of that there is something weird going on out there.
There is a level of illusion. What is it when you kind of make somebody pay attention to one side of your body while you're, doing a trick with the other side of your body, and because they're paying this, I can't remember the word. It's just a way of distracting you while they're doing their trick. There's people like Chris Angel, David Blaine. They get on the street in real 3D time and they do their thing.
Matt Dillahunty does a whole show on that.
Yeah.
And
the level of convincing would also have to be able to convince beyond people's ability to do illusions.
Yeah, it's the same reason that I'm a naturalist and a realist. This is what happens every day of my life, every single day, every moment of my life. If something started happening every day, every moment of my life that indicated that there was some kind of spirit mind thing, like if my friend Mac came to see me every Sunday night and we had a long conversation and I could see him and touch him, even though he's been dead for 15 years, I would be like, okay, now I believe there's something besides this naturalism, physicalism, and it wouldn't be that hard to get me to believe that if it happened identically. And I got into a conversation with my son about this, about hallucinations, and I have had real hallucinations, and I'm also a connoisseur of subjective experience. So when I have these hallucinations, I remember them and I tear them apart and detail them. And I even journal a little bit about them. And they aren't, you don't see something identically. Hallucinations, like you'll see something out of the corner of your eye, or you'll see it for a moment and it just disappears. And then you become very confused and upset. And like I heard my mom talking out of the speakers and then it would go away. And So I mean, I've subjected myself to some pretty remarkable overdoses of various drugs, and I've also had sleep-induced psychosis or lack of sleep-induced psychosis. So I mean, I know what's eidetic, and if something were to regularly happen that was just way, way out of whatever we can expect, it'd be kind of a mind thing, right? There'd be like some mind would come to me from the grave and communicate. Anyway, goalposts regarding what would convince you. Creating an arbitrary, yeah, is it arbitrary? I don't know. Is it arbitrary?
Well, like I
What is
said,
it?
I
What do you
wouldn't
mean by
create a
that?
goalpost. If this is a God that knows me, knows everything, I shouldn't even have to answer that question. It's just, okay, I'm sure that God knows how to convince me. So I'll just leave it like that. I don't have to spend all this, processing time coming up with ways that somebody might convince me that there's a God.
Yeah, the thing is, like, Bread of Life, okay? She's on like 1 or 2 times a week, tearing down evolution because that's the only way she can believe. She's even admitted it, that if she believed in evolution, she'd lose her faith in Christianity. So I mean, it's because she doesn't have anything in her regular life that shows her this God. This God is never has anything to do with these poor Christians. And that's why that's why they have to pick on evolution and pick on the age of the earth and pick on science, because they have nothing else that will convince them. That's what the YEK movement is all about. They have a complete lack of faith in their religion, so they have to look to science to try to prove it for them. And that is just really sad. I really feel bad for these people. They're trying to construct a belief in something by, doing this anti-science bullshit 5 days a week. Just arguing, and
Yeah.
it's just sad.
I accepted
really sad.
evolution years before I became an atheist. It was just not, to me, it's not that big of a deal. I did have to adjust some of my expectations about the Bible, but I was still pretty darn conservative. I was still an evangelical. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah, certainty exists. You want to talk to him for a few minutes? We could do that.
that's up to you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, anybody who just came here for the conversation with CBrown, you could, just bail right now. And I'm going to put the link out there, and we might talk for a few minutes. And I don't have very long. I'm doing my wind down phase at 5 or 6 o'clock
today. Don't
What's that?
make people worry. Don't make people worry. You don't have very long today.
Oh, yeah. 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 Well, I don't have very long. I'm 74
I
years
know,
old.
but we don't want to think in the long term.
The old ticker's going. I feel it. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, at 4 or 5 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock at night, I really don't give a shit about any of this stuff, any of this battle. But at 5 in the morning, I'm on fire, and I really care about it, right? And it happens to me every day, and I'm kind of sad when, at 6 o'clock, like last night, I started to think about it, and I thought, this nauseates me. I don't even want to do this anymore. And then this morning I woke up and it's like, I'm going to do this video, whatever.
Yeah, sometimes you want to, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just don't feel like it. And then boom, the right amount of food, the right amount of rest, sunlight hitting your eyes in just the right way. And suddenly you've got the energy and the enthusiasm for it. Hey.
Yeah.
Look at here.
Oh, was it here?
No.
Oh.
Look on the screen.
What? Oh. My audio's doing weird stuff? Okay. So what's it doing?
Well, it's same. I was hearing the same thing at the same time. It's the same stuff I've been describing, the staticky stuff. Not quite robot-y, but definitely staticky.
Oh, what the fuck is that? We've got like a fucking massively fast internet. I don't understand what it could be. It's got to be like StreamYard bailing on us.
It very well could be. They've been putting so many bells and whistles on lately, and who knows what kind of quality control they've been under.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me know when I'm totally out of that. That is really disappointing, but
You're
I'll
kind of
have to
good
listen.
now. I mean, it's just arbitrary.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to the video and find out and see if I can figure out what's going on. The microphone, I mean, if it works normally now, it can't be the mic. I don't think mics are intermittent. It's got to be something on the computer. Maybe if I get rid of, let me get rid of OBS.
Can you do that midstream?
Yeah. You're just not going to see my video. Okay, so let me shut my video off.
We now have a guest.
Yeah, we have a guest. Hello. So I'm not sure what you meant by arbitrary goalpost. I don't know.
Oh, well, you're just thinking of things that would make you believe, coming up with things. Well, if this happened, I guess I'd believe.
Well, it would have to happen like on a regular basis, and I'd have to like have a lot of it would have to become part of my normal life for these supernatural things to happen. Otherwise, I'm not going to believe it. And I don't believe in unicorns because I've never seen one anywhere, that I could verify.
But you still haven't been able to come to terms with logic and mathematics, right? You tried to.
What?
Well, I'm saying as far as like the immaterial existence of these things, these invariant.
There is no immaterial existence of logic and mathematics. I've been through all this with you.
Yeah, right.
It's all based on the universe, right? On physicality. Logic and math is based on physicality.
What physical thing is math based on?
You can't put both your hands in the same place at the same time, right?
What physical thing?
Okay, clap your hands. Clap your hands. Now put them together. Can you replace one hand with the other? Can you push one hand into the other? Okay, that's where logic starts. And I don't want to get into this big metaphysical discussion. Let's just talk about this proof in God.
How are you going to talk about metaphysics as a physicalist? How are you going to account for something?
I do. I don't have to.
I'm saying when you try to account for it or justify it.
Well, all I have to talk about is what's happening right here, right now, to myself.
It doesn't justify the use and utility of metaphysics.
What do I need?
Why do you keep interrupting?
Go ahead.
You saying that you're using metaphysics doesn't justify or give an account of how you can do that from a physicalist philosophy.
Why am I obligated to justify it?
Well, if you don't justify things and you're talking about people to God, they say God just is, and that's the defeater.
What?
When you don't have to justify things and you're talking to a believer, they say God just is.
Okay. But that's you kind of have to
for your style of argumentation where you're saying I don't need to justify things. When we trace back presuppositions and assumptions that we're bringing to the table, and you're asked, how do you justify that? And you say, I don't have to. Then guess what? The believer doesn't have to justify God. That's it.
Okay. You don't see the difference? Okay.
You can try to categorize things differently.
Shut up for a minute. Excuse me. When a non-believer says, show me evidence that there's a God, you're showing the non-believer. We're not asking you to justify your belief. We're asking you to show us evidence or some reason.
You're asking for a justification of some sort.
Okay. Yeah. So justify.
Well, when I ask you to justify,
if you say I don't have to,
you say I don't have to.
Part our ways because you can't convince me that there's a God.
No, you guys are missing the point here. When we're going into things that we're presupposing and assuming into the conversation, when a physicalist is talking about metaphysical ideas, someone can say, how are you justifying this? Give an account of how you have metaphysics in physicalism.
Okay, let's back up. Okay. Justification for physicalism and for naturalism, right? I can justify any single object in the world by touching it, holding it up, showing it to you. That justifies it. I don't need any metaphysical justification. It's an experiential justification.
Well, there's metaphysics involved in that whole process.
To you there is, but to me, metaphysics is kind of like bullshit. A lot of bullshit in metaphysics. You keep moving the goalposts with metaphysics, and I'm telling you that when you got out of bed this morning, you assume naturalism and regularity of the universe, logic, all of that stuff. And you've lived your entire day. I don't know how long you've been up, but your entire day you have done nothing but naturalism. And so I don't need to justify it any more than pointing out that you're a naturalist too.
Is that it?
There you go.
That's it. You know what happened in my life today, and you experienced that so that you can justify saying something like that.
I have 99.99% confidence that I know that you lived entirely by naturalism today.
Now you're backtracking, right? You're lowering the percentage.
What's that?
You're lowering the percentage because it's a backtrack. If you're a physicalist and everything is based on sense, data, observation, experience, you don't have that information about what I did today. So you got to kick that out.
I know what you did today. You did natural things. You drank water. You probably had a cup of coffee. You're breathing. You're a human being functioning. I don't have to assume
what I did because I'm a human, right? You're
I have near 100% confidence that you had done nothing supernatural today. If you have, tell me about it. Tell me what you've done that's supernatural today.
Well, you're talking about something else now. I'm saying if you come from a position that assumes sense, data, observation, and experience, telling someone what they did today without having those things intact is erroneous. It's simple.
I don't assume sense data. I don't like sense data. That isn't how human beings live. I assume the rationality has been provided to me by nature. It is obvious.
How did nature do
that? It's completely obvious.
How did nature provide?
Why do I need to know how?
Because you're making the claim in the positive.
Okay, you're doing the same thing I'm doing. You're living.
Well, now what I'm doing is not helping your case.
I'm living my life naturally. Scott's living his life.
Hey,
show me. Give me some justification for this God. Tell me why.
You're dancing all around, Mike.
Why should I believe there's a God? Why should I believe this? Tell me. Why do you believe it? Why do you believe there's a God?
I argue that God is a starting point for all things, the precondition necessary.
Okay, you just blurted that out. That means nothing. Give me some reason to believe in this God. Why would I believe in it? Give me a reason to believe.
Well, I would, with a materialist or a physicalist, I would start with pointing out that they're utilizing metaphysical ideas and they're relying on ethics in their worldview.
No, you're blathering about metaphysics again, and you probably don't even know what it is. Let me put it this
way. Do you understand basic philosophy as metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, or do you subscribe to something else?
I pretty much understand what's done with metaphysics and ethics and all of that. I don't. I have my own. I have my own. What?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have my own sort of idiosyncratic views of metaphysics and philosophy. And metaphysics to me is just physics. That's all metaphysics.
Metaphysics is just physics. Okay, physics. So it's just what the hell does that mean? It's just physics.
It is the physics of basically how the universe got here, the greater idea, what the dimensionality of the universe is, particle physics, fields. That's metaphysics to me.
You're making up your own.
The metaphysics you're talking about, I call junior high school metaphysics, or naive metaphysics, where you start to think of, oh, I got to figure out what caused all this stuff, and I got to justify things. You got to come up with a story that sounds good. And what do you say? Oh, God is the first cause because there has to be a first cause. This is all bullshit. This is naive metaphysics.
I agree that what you're saying is
junior
bullshit.
High.
I agree.
Junior high bullshit.
What you're saying is bullshit. Metaphysics gets into transcendental categories, right? Causality, meaning, value, purpose, things that you assume in your worldview that you can't account for or justify. That's why I'm continually asking you to account or justify for these things, because I know where the absence is, the void in your worldview is. You're trying to say everything is physical. You're even going to the point where saying metaphysics is physics, which is comedy.
What is transcendental?
Transcendental categories.
What is
things that are not material? Causality, teleology.
Show me something that's not material.
I'm talking about things that are not material.
You're
Causality.
talking about them, but you're not showing them to me. Show me
Okay,
something that's not
does
material.
causality exist, Mike?
Regularity does, obviously,
Okay,
but
well,
it's
how am I
not
gonna-
guaranteed.
what am I going to show you?
Regularity is not guaranteed. You can't
Right.
show that to me.
Right. You
Okay.
need faith in induction
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
regularity in nature. So when you talk
Yeah,
about
and-
faith, and say point to it, well, go ahead.
Go ahead. What?
Point to it.
I'm pointing to my iPad right now. It's there. I'm touching it. Okay, that's all I
You
need.
utilize faith in a physicalist worldview. Point to faith.
Faith is just a biological function of my brain. Basically, trust and regularity. We do it all the time. You've been
Point
doing it
to
all
it.
day. I've been doing it all day. Trust.
Faith.
I'm pointing to my head right now. I'm pointing to
Okay,
my
so your head is identical with trust.
pretty much.
Okay, so you know that you're in a tight
Well,
spot.
I know that everything I'm feeling in the faith department is an emotion, a deep emotional, rather a feeling. Okay.
Really, when you sit down in a chair
it's a
because
deep
you think
feeling.
it's going to support you again, it's an emotional experience
Yeah.
for you. Really?
It is. It is. It is. When you sit down in a chair and your butt actually hits the chair and you rest in it, you get this little dopamine rush, and yeah, it's just all physics. It's all physics.
Stop BSing, Mike. So when you say you're going to
what does that mean? Wait! You're going to get thrown out of here if you say that again.
Stop BSing, Mike.
Goodbye. I told
When
you.
you point to your head and you call that faith or trust, you're saying.
Night, JG.
Night. Okay.
He can't even use his real handle anymore. He's embarrassed himself.
Yeah, I know.
No, the idea of point to faith, point to this, point to that. There are certain words that are abstract in nature. They don't exist.
They do.
No, I don't think they exist. They only exist as definitions in the collective database known as the human brain.
Well, they're gonna exist temporarily in your brain, and they're gonna have a structure that is real enough that you and I can communicate with a word, right? But that's we have to get into naturalism again. There's a thing I did on naturalism this morning, and it's basically true naturalism. And we have this view of the world, right? That's what we think. You don't have a view of the world. You are the view of the world. And we have this tendency to take our mind and believe that it's something separate from the world. But anyway, I'm kind of done for the day, Scott. I do not want to get into that topic, but
okay.
But I mean, you know, these word games that JG plays are just fucking silly. Oh, you're full of shit, and you can't point to this, and you know, you get all these abstract, just metaphysics and all this bullshit. It's just a mealy-mouthed fucking word game is all it is. And they can't tell you what any of it is. What are transcendental categories? It's like, oh, what the hell did he say they were?
I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't make it just, he couldn't tell you. Transcendental is basically you draw a model or a physical system, and then you look outside of that system, so that you can create another model, right? And then, okay, now you have that system. Well, reach outside of that and create another model, and you got an infinite word game going on. So transcendental categories is just a mealy-mouthed bunch of bullshit as far as I'm concerned. Anyway. Okay. There's not a neuroscience alive when hard pressed will say what consciousness. Yeah, I will say it.
Well, wait, but okay, so let's say there's a neuroscientist that does not think consciousness is a product of the brain. They can't say that or prove that either. It's an ongoing research. And I think there's a lot of data that supports that idea, that belief, but oh well.
Yeah.
Faith in the truth really isn't using reason there, because people who believe that consciousness is this spiritual thing, that it exists outside the brain, in terms of idealism or something like that, they just can't prove it either. They just state it
Oh,
and go on from there.
I don't know who faith and truth is, but causation versus correlation, that's really a cute little nursery rhyme. That'd be really great in kindergarten. But sometimes correlation is the cause. Sometimes correlation is the cause. Some people die, and it turns out they have a tumor. So causation is correlation. There you go. It's most of the time, causation is correlation. We're talking about statistics. It's a cute little nursery rhyme from junior college statistics people.
And in science, you always have to be careful to say they can't blank, because eventually maybe they can.
Yeah.
And maybe they will, maybe they won't. But right now, I believe that consciousness is a product of the physical brain.
Yep. Oh, well, yeah, I wouldn't put it that way, because that's that consciousness actually exists, and it really doesn't. It really is not what's happening. I got to go, Scott.
All right. Well, have a great evening.
Okay.
Thank you, chat, for your participation.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We just don't want this to go very long, and we've done 45 minutes again. We keep planning to do, 10, 20 minutes, and we do 40.
Always get thrown back in.
But anyway, thank you guys in chat, even you, JG, and Faith and Truth. I really appreciate you guys showing up. JG is impossible to talk to. He's just a word salad on steroids.
Yeah, it sounds like he's learning to be aggressive from somebody. I think
he's
listen to all his heroes, and he goes back and tries to emulate them.
Yeah, he's got that whole little bullshit going on. He really thinks it's something, but it's really just junior high philosophy, and it is nobody takes that shit seriously in philosophy, other than this handful of apologists. So. And I don't know why we even give them a microphone.
Spooky. What? Okay.
Spooky. Oh, fuck.
I guess we should have acknowledged the lurkers, but if we acknowledged the lurkers, you wouldn't have shown up. So, Hello, Spooky.
Yeah. Yep. Crisis King. Okay. I'm not going to read the word guide, but I think that's the most boring book I've ever picked up.
Have you got another magic book for me to read? I've already read that one.
Could you rewrite that thing and have it more like, I don't know, use a Stephen King style, or maybe Tolkien, or so, I don't know. Do better. Okay.
All right. I'm out of here.
Bakru World.
See
Love
y'all.
you guys. See y'all.